Hello and welcome to day 122 of the Corona Yoga Challenge. And today I'm going to do a little bit of yoga philosophy. So what we have got for our week 3 philosophy is satya and benevolence. So satya is truthfulness and how we speak our truth and how truthful are we with our truth. It's not... It's something that people think about quite a lot, I think, really. Certainly I have done. Like the concept of, there's some kind of funny film where somebody goes and says, they say to you, do you like my dress? And they go, no, it looks terrible. Or, no, I don't. So that's obviously speaking our truth on one level. However, that's a kind of truth that's going to hurt and creates a whole heap of other things. So how do we speak our truth? How do we do it kindly? And what is our truth? Because if you ask me, truth is quite a variable and changeable thing, in that you could be feeling awful at one point in the day, and then an hour later something happens. Maybe you eat something and it feels great. Maybe somebody phones you, you feel really happy, and everything changes. So they're both truths. So how do we find a truth that we can really sit with and we can work with? So that's the kind of the biggest scheme of the truth. And the smaller things that what I want to do with looking at your yoga practice is, how does truthfulness work with your yoga practice, so what you're doing at home? So the first thing that always comes to mind so often for me with yoga is this idea of this beautiful, perfect pose, like probably slightly dramatic, the lighting's fantastic, everything's looking wonderful, and the aspiration for that perfection, and then the truthfulness comes in as to how do we relate to that when it's not what we thought we were going to be doing. So if I'm sitting in cow pose at the moment, so I'm sitting like this and I'm just quite relaxed. So I could go into a space in myself where I go into the determination to be something other than where I am, which is, my legs should be here, and I should be like this, and I should have my shoulders down, and now I have reached where I think I should be, and I feel so much more superior now I am here. That's all a possibility in life, to go through that process. But for me, this is my truthfulness. This is, my body is happy here, right now. This leg being out like this, my back slightly soft at the back, all this is my truthfulness right now. This is where my body would like to be. And now, actually, I've sat here for a few seconds, and now, because I'm talking about it, I want to change. So my truthfulness is now, actually, my body wants to be here. I would like to be here for a little bit. So it's following that pattern of finding out what it is that you want, and then actually really trying to acknowledge that. So it might be that you come onto your mat and you go, right, I'm all ready, this is going to be great, stuck on a little bit of nice music or one of my weird videos, and you're like, yeah, it's all set up, it's all beautiful, wonderful. And then you come onto your mat and you go, no, I just can't be bothered. And you might then, as you settle into your mat, you might go into, right, I'm going to make myself, I'm going to do this practice, I'm going to get better, I'm going to be more. And all of those things are taking you into something, but they're also taking you away from that truthfulness. And that truthfulness is, I'm on my mat, everything's all set up, and actually my bodily sensations are low and heavy, and I don't always like it when I feel low and heavy. So that we go into not a navel-gazing, intense, crazy experience of going inwards, but just like, I'm here. This is my truth right now. So those are just some of my thoughts for you to start with, and I have got for you here a little bit BKS Iyengar Light on Yoga, very traditional yoga book. And actually a pretty good one. And my one is so old that actually, look, I can lose pages just like that. Oh, but I love that. So this is a little bit about satya. Satya, or truth, is the highest rule of conduct or morality. So this is what I love about yoga. You can take a really good idea and then you can make it heavy. So as soon as I read satya or truth is the highest rule of conduct or morality, I'm like, oh, gee, this is a bit much. So I'm going to unpack it for you the way I unpack it for myself, which is that this is a really important thing for us to work with and to explore. As fire burns impurities and refines gold, so the fire of truth cleanses the yogi and burns up the dross in him. So what I like about that little bit about the fire burning up the impurities, is that I do really think that it's an ideal to aspire to becoming more and more of yourself and trusting that you are okay. I think that through a variety of common social perceptions, religions, we can get the concept that actually if we listen to what we want, it's going to go horribly wrong. And that we're going to find out that we're really nasty, nasty people. And yeah, there's going to be some truth in that. However, I think it's so important to try and get really back into you, into yourself, and to find yourself as you, and whatever that is, through that process of exploration. And I think part of that is coming back to that truthfulness, and that starts with, on the mat, this is where I am, this is where I want to practice. A little bit more for you. If the mind thinks thoughts of truth, if the tongue speaks words of truth, and if the whole life is based upon truth, then one becomes fit for union with the infinite. So again, for those of you who've not read this sort of thing before, you'd be like, oh, I'm not really so fussed about union with the infinite. The concept is that coming into wholeness is how I would interpret that. So that when we find more truthfulness with ourselves, so first of all, just within yourself is the most important thing, then you can start to kind of gently take that out into the world. And then through that process, you're going to get to a place where you feel more whole and more connected to your life and life in general. That's my interpretation of this. Satya presupposes perfect truthfulness in thought, word and deed. So as soon as we get that lovely word perfect, it can bring up so much stuff for so many people. There's a beautiful chant in yoga called Perfect Prayer. Purna Purnamidam Purnamidachyate. It means perfect, imperfect, and accepting imperfection as perfect. But I've had lovely arguments with a close friend, Jackie, about how she hates the word perfect. Even the idea of perfect being imperfect for her is like, no, it's just wrong. She's a psychologist and she deals with people with living up to perfect all the time, which we all do. So it's important, isn't it? So satya, truthfulness, is aiming towards that truthfulness in thought, word and in life. And I think that's okay, as long as we don't get too tight with the words. And some of these words I would say are a little bit formal, a little bit legalese. When one who's established in truth prays with a pure heart, then things he really needs come to him when they are really needed. He does not have to run after them. So this is the concept that if we are truthful with ourselves and with others and with our life, then, beautiful things are going to come. I think Iyengar's great. Maybe he's right. I don't think it's particularly helpful, that bit as a concept. I think that looking more to the experience of life in the microcosm and let the macrocosm take care of itself is personally a better way to do it. If I think, I'm going to be truthful because everything's going to become wonderful for me, it's a whole new ball game that we're into. So I would probably let go of thinking about what might or might not be the end game of this process, but more go through each little bit of it and go, how does this sit with me? How does this sit with me? And when I do this, how do I feel better? I was in Tesco's about, 15, 20 years ago, and there was this pyjama set. Oh, it's such a big deal, eh? But the top was over the bottoms, and the top said it was this much. And I kind of thought that the trousers were a different cost. But when I was okay with that, when I went there, they just scanned the top thing and then stuck it in. And oh my goodness, I had such a play with myself about what I was going to do. And I ended up, I was like, no, it's against my beliefs. And I really don't think this is going to be good for me. I don't think I'm going to enjoy these pajamas if I knowingly do something that's not truthful for me. That doesn't mean that has to be the same for you. So anyway, I went and told them about the pajamas. They charged me more, and I've laughed about it ever since. Way past the life of the pajamas. See, the joy that has given me and the beauty it has brought to my life to pay more for something that I should pay less for. But it's about life, isn't it? It's about being alive, and it's about enjoying your life and finding the best ways to do with that. So I'm going to just offer pajamas up to you so that you can decide where you want to sit with that. You can play with it. And, maybe you'll go into a shop and they're going to give you something for half price, but it should be more. And maybe you're going to go, fabulous, and you're going to feel brilliant about that. That's good too. I'm not going to. I'm going to let you sort your life out. I don't need to be a part of that. But it's interesting to think about, and it's really important, I think, to think about and to explore and to become alive with. So I've not talked about benevolence at all, have I? Although I guess in everything I've said, benevolence is so important, and that is this sense of kindness. So that you can read the beautiful book about the perfect dream and you can go, oh, well, that's okay. You can go get something for half price that's supposed to be full price. That's okay. It's all going to be fine. And I hope you enjoy that exploration of truthfulness for you this week. And I would love to hear about any of your thoughts or what you do or don't want to take from this. So wishing you very, very well. Have a good week. And truthfulness, kindness and benevolence.